Oh boy, does it feel good to be back and back. The Denver Broncos are. Sean Payton just put all of the haters and doubters and skeptics to task and really set the stage for the Denver Broncos rebounding and making those 4-13 predictions look absolutely foolish. We've got a ton to break down from his press conference today as the NFL training camp opens up. The Broncos are back, and we have a ton of hope in our future. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ben. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan. If you think that all those predictions of the Broncos only winning 5 games are absolute malarkey, it helps me out a ton if you would like and subscribe. If you're a doubter, just go watch Netflix Receiver or more Taylor Swift concerts or whatever, because yo, we don't need you here because we BO-LIEVE here in Denver. So Sean Payton's press conference could not have been a starker difference from really like OTA press conference. Sean Payton, he goes from being a really like jovial and fun, and he's joking around and having back and forth with reporters, talking about his shoes. Really just like a happy-go-lucky Sean Payton. And today he was Sean Payton on the warpath, determined, excited. He really looked like he just taken like 10 pre-workout drinks and was about to go hit the bench press really hard. That's kind of my read on it. And he even Troy Rank pointed this out, like his aura is just totally different. The OTA Sean Payton is gone, and now it's time to go and find the quarterback who's going to beat Seattle Seahawks on September 8th. And I think he is built for it and he's ready for it. So the reason I think there was good news abounding in this press conference is that there is, for whatever reason, a real doubt of Sean Payton. We saw CBS say he's the 18th best coach in the league. And we see a lot of people across the league who don't like Sean Payton for whatever reason. And the picture they paint, the skeptics, is that he's a liar, that he tried to cover up Bountygate, that he doesn't tell the truth, and he's like this deceptive person, right? And I feel like what I loved about this press conference is that every single claim that he made in the offseason is coming true. And that should have us excited about what are the other claims that haven't had a chance to be true yet. What are those? And we're going to look at all of that here. So the first claim that he made in the offseason that all the skeptics said, oh, we'll see if that comes true, was Courtland Sutton. He said, I expect Courtland Sutton will be at training camp. And all of the skeptics and doubters said, oh, we'll see about that. Like, yeah, he's lying to us about that. Well, guess what? Courtland Sutton is there. And like case closed. He didn't even leave it open for any more discussion. He said, yeah, Courtland's on the team and he's here already, and we'll leave it at that. Next thing that all the skeptics were saying was Sean Payton said, Greg Dulcich will be ready for camp. Everyone was like, oh, we'll believe it when we see it. Yeah, he's lying to us again. Well, guess who is fully practicing and back? Greg Dulcich. Same thing. Audric Estime. He has a scope of his knee, and all the skeptics and haters were like, oh, we've been down this path before. He's lying to us again. Well, Audric Estime is back. Riley Moss is back. And so all of these claims that people said weren't true, he is coming out and showing us that, hey, when I told you that a couple of months ago, that wasn't a lie. And so let's just take him at face value. And when he told Jay Glazer that he wanted to go and surprise Bo Nix because Bo Nix was always his person, he wanted to surprise him in Mobile, Alabama. Let's not assume that was a lie, because Sean Payton has not lied to us as Broncos fans. He might wait to tell us the truth for a long time like he did with the injury of Drew Sanders, but Sean Payton is a straight shooter when it comes to what he says is what happens. And so this is my favorite moment of this entire press conference. It made me want to go and do like a bunch of burpees or heavy lifts so I can look like Audric Estime. And somebody asked him, hey, there's a lot of predictions out there that you're only going to win 5 games. What do you think about that? And the defiant nature of how he talked here and just his body language says it all. So let's let this breathe here.
Spent time on that. In 2006, we would have never gone to the NFC Championship game. And I mean that seriously. Back my first year as head coach in New Orleans. I don't have time to spend time on that, nor do I wish to spend time on it. I understand they have a job to do and where we're selected, and none of that means anything. It's stuff to talk about when the media cycle is quiet. We'll get ready to play, and we expect to compete. We expect to win.
None of that matters. We expect to play. We expect to win. Like, that is full stop right there. Sean Payton is saying we expect to win. And a lot of people, again, the skeptic hat, are saying, well, what do you expect him to say? Like, he's got to say it. That's a coach answer. No, that is so far from what he would say if he was hedging. We're in a political season now where you ask any candidate and they have learned how to not answer the question. Sean Payton easily could have said, when the question was asked, like, hey, people are predicting you only are going to win 5 games. How do you respond to that? If he wanted to temper expectations, which he would, he has the richest owner in all of sports. And if the Broncos do not meet these lofty expectations that we have, he will be run out of town so fast. Like, I know he still has time on his deal, but when you have the richest owner in sports, like, that deal is like monopoly money. And so Sean Payton would need to hedge if he truly did not believe that they could win right now, because all unhappiness in life is unmet expectations. And so he is setting our expectations high by saying we expect to win. So he easily, if he wanted to hedge, could have said, you know, I've been coaching in this league a long time and it depends on injury luck, and we are just going to compete and do our best. But, you know, the AFC is the best division in football, and just look at all these star-studded quarterbacks we have to play this year. We've got several games on the East Coast, and so it's going to be a tough haul, but I know we got the guys for it. Like, that would have been the political answer if he was hedging. There is zero hedge in Sean Payton, and we just went through 4 claims that he made that were true, and so let's believe this one too, that he believes that we have the horses in the stable right now, the Broncos in the stable right now to win. And one of the reasons that I think Sean Payton is so high on this team is that they asked him about how over his previous successful teams, when he turned the worst organization in the history of the NFL and the New Orleans Saints into a Super Bowl team, they said, hey, you've always really invested heavily in guards. And he interrupted the question and he said, and centers and tackles. Really, the offensive line is the most important position on any team, and it permeates the rest of the building, he said. And he said, that is our position of strength. He even went through and said, yeah, right here, it permeates your entire building. That Mike Kliss picking up that tweet right there. And then hearing that Quinn Miners heard that as well, that Quinn Miners said that last year Sean Payton came in and said, like, hey, we will only go as far as this offensive line goes. And at the end of last year, the Denver Broncos offensive line was a top 7 offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. And so you're asking me, why am I so hopeful in the future of this Denver Broncos team? It's because Sean Payton is hopeful in it, and the position that he thinks is most important for the future of this team is the best position on this team in our offensive line. And so there is a ton to be hopeful about. Again, there is zero hedge. We have heard Courtland Sutton say, we're not waiting for a 3-year rebuild. We heard Jaleel McLaughlin say, we're keeping all the receipts, and none of these people who are hating on us have even been to a single practice. We are taking note of it. Brandon Jones said the same thing. And then Quinn Miners said today in his interview, you don't want to count out a young, hungry team. And that is exactly who the Denver Broncos are. And that's why Sean Payton walked into this press conference like he was about to run through a wall, and he is going to run through a wall as the Denver Broncos boat race the entire NFL this year. And you can, make your bets now, because the future is bright for the Denver Broncos, and that is something I believe in.